Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing great today. Okay, so in one of the last few videos I posted, I made a promise to us. I told us that immediately after those videos that I am going to try my best to do another video in which I will explain to us who really is planning to invade our planet and displace humanity. I said I was going to help us understand who is interested in this world that God has created for us and given to us and told us to take dominion in it. And it's no other than what you've heard me say before, the aliens. And so in this particular video, I am going to explain to you how that the aliens are the ones who are planning to invade our world. I'm going to help you to understand who the aliens are, what their mission on Earth is. I want to help you understand the origins of this whole mass depopulation agenda that you've been hearing us talk about for so many years. I want to help you understand why they want human beings out of this world. I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff I want to share with you today. And just so you know, very interestingly, this particular video I'm making today, it's a video that I've been wanting to make for the past 7 to 8 years. Yes, 7 to 8 years. You won't believe it. But I feel even less pressured now doing this video than I was feeling then, because most of the things that I'm about to share with you, as intense as they are, most of them are things that you are already accustomed to. You're already seeing them. You've already witnessed some of them happening, because now we are living in the era of absurdities, in the era of fulfillment of prophecy. So a lot of those things are already happening. And then I've also done some serious preparatory videos that have prepared a lot of you psychologically for some of the intense stuff you're about to watch right now. And so I believe that for those of you who have followed me long enough, I don't think this is going to be too outrageous for you. It might be for people who are just watching me or knowing me for the first time. But whichever way you see it, the most important thing is that these videos are very critical and important for this time. I just cannot imagine a better time to share this with the whole world. People need to know what is really going on. We need to separate the facts from the fiction.
My name is Joseph Spencer. From May 1970 to October 1997, I served the United States government as a top secret operative, but not in a category that is commonly known or understood. I was known as a man in black. Following 7 years acting as a counterintelligence agent for the CIA, I was recruited for a new assignment that entailed working within above top secret operations. I was aware of the black budget projects, but never knew the context of them due to their high level of secrecy. Even the president was denied access to their inner workings. Annually, billions of dollars are poured into black projects, which operate without any supervision or intrusion. They have full autonomy. The operations deal primarily with advancing military technologies, most of which have been reverse engineered from recovered alien spacecrafts that had either crashed or were shot down by our military. The public, sadly, will never, ever have knowledge of these operations. This transition in my life happened in 1970. The senior black project director was William T. Latham, who had worked under CIA Executive Director Richard Schlesinger. Latham stated that I was the perfect candidate for my new position. I was a foster child, and I had no connections to existing relatives. I had no friends or social life. It was easy for them to erase my past and provide me with a new identity. I gave myself to them as a priest would to his God. But first, my mind had to be erased. I was injected with various forms of mind-altering drugs, LSD, heroin, mescaline, morphine, sodium pentothal, and more. Drug-induced hypnosis followed with antegrade and retrograde amnesia. The goal was to program me to do two things: kill and forget. After 9 months of programming, I had become a man in black.
So I warned you that this is going to be a little intense. And the reason I have to stop to explain is because some of the things you're hearing or you're going to hear are not things you've heard anywhere in your life before. He's saying that for people who have not known about Area 51 before, please look it up. Just write it down so we can do this together. Write Area 51 in Nevada, Area 51. Write it down and do some research on Area 51. It's basically where everything that has to do with alien-human interaction is taking place in America. All the information, all the visitation, all the interaction between aliens and human beings that were overseen by Americans or are currently being overseen. It's almost like saying that is an embassy for the aliens in the USA, Area 51. The things that happen there, he's telling you that even presidents are not allowed to get information on what is happening in Area 51. They have more power than any government that comes in the US. You don't just say, because I am president, you must give me some, information on what. No, you don't have the right unless they choose to. That's how powerful Area 51 is. And for him to work there, they had to look at his background. He had no relations with anybody that is alive, no connection, because he was a foster child. So they say this one is a perfect candidate. Let's turn him into our Manchurian candidate. You also need to write this down, Manchurian, Manchurian, Manchurian candidate. Look it up. You can see a few videos of Manchurian candidate. They turn you into whatever they want to turn. They make you in the image of whatever they want to make you in. So not having any connection to any existing relative was perfect, qualified him properly. And so the next thing they did was, oh wow, so since this one cannot be traced, if he dies now or if anything happens to him, no one can trace him. There's no relative anywhere. So let's take him and make him into the Manchurian candidate that we want. And the only way you can make a Manchurian candidate, you erase his past. They began to inject him with all kinds of mind-altering drugs, including the ones you already know about that are out there on the streets. These are mind-altering drugs. And they wiped his past. Everything was wiped clean. And he was an entirely different person. So every information he had gotten from the time he was born up until that moment, these people have mechanisms. They have developed drugs and chemicals with which they could wipe them out. As at back then, they wiped off everything. And he was an entirely different person in front of them. So that new person they had, they now began to program him to become a part of the Men in Black. If you are a part of the Men in Black, it means you can kill and not even remember that you killed. You can kill without any remorse, because when the erasing of his past happened, one of the first things they target is your conscience. And even in the occult, they also do that through incantations and sacrifices and all kinds of satanic rituals. They call it the cremation of care. So cremation of care means that they destroy your conscience so that when you kill, you don't feel anything about it. So they had to wipe everything that had to do with him having feelings for killing. So he could see someone and kill the person. It would just be like somebody who saw a fly going and just did like this. And so no, human beings didn't mean anything to him anymore. That's exactly what he just explained to you. And we are only just beginning. So please pay attention as we go to the next clip.
What I later discovered was that not all the Men in Black were human. About a third were alien hybrids. Their distinctive feature was the absence of whites in their eyes, giving the impression of empty eye sockets. This unsettled me, and it took months to adjust to the reality of alien integration. My assignments largely dealt with UFO sightings and crash sites. In August of 1971, I witnessed my first UFO crash site just north of Edwards Air Force Base in California. Inside the craft were 3 grayed humanoids, 2 dead, 1 still alive. Also in the craft was a human female abductee. The alien humanoids were transported to the base, but 2 witnesses had arrived before us and took several photographs. The first surrendered his camera, but the second fled. When we apprehended him, he resisted, and I was ordered to silence him, which I did. The killing of witnesses was executed with a wand that acted very much like today's taser. But the voltage from the wand would cause immediate cardiac arrest, and the victim's death would be attributed to natural causes. We silenced countless victims, not only men, but women of all ages and even teenagers. The following day, after each kill, our memories were reset, so we would have no recollection of the murders. A good majority of the victims were ufologists and whistleblowers. Among the ufologists I personally silenced were Paul William Cooper, Milton Vigay, Claude Monroe, Anthony Vargas, and noted documentarian Samantha Willis. When my wand malfunctioned with Samantha, I resorted to strangulation. She fought for her life for almost 2 minutes. In recalling this act, I stared into her pleading eyes for the entire duration with absolutely no remorse, guilt, or feelings. That was how effective the mind conditioning was. And it's her face that haunts my dreams more than anyone's to this day.
Right after they erased his mind and gave him an entirely new identity, he became a part of what you know as Men in Black. Now, something he said now makes a lot of sense for people who don't understand what Men in Black is all about. He said right after that, they introduced him to other Men in Black, and he found out, to his utmost dismay, that one-third of the other Men in Black were alien humanoids, alien hybrids rather. Can you imagine, as at that time, 1/3, 1 in 3 were alien hybrids, not real human beings. And he said this unsettled him. And then shortly after that, he witnessed his first alien crash. Please pay very close attention. His first alien crash. Inside, they had 3 humanoids, 2 dead, 1 alive or something like that, and then a living human being, a lady, a female, that they had abducted inside the alien craft. The same UFO craft you're talking about that you see, and some people will say, oh, that's fake news. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, it doesn't exist. Oh, all kinds of story. This is real right now. And this is not the first time I have seen a person who was on the inside making such confessions. There was the one called Phil Schneider. He was the very first person I ever met who was not just an insider, he was a geologist, he was working with them. He was one of the first who went into the deep underground military bases that they were building and found these alien graves under the ground. And Phil narrated how that when he encountered an alien, that nobody prepared him for that. Deep down, several thousand feet below the surface. And that when he took his gun to shoot an alien, that he felt that that was going to kill the alien. So he shot at that alien, and the alien just recovered immediately and rubbed the hand on its tummy. And when he did that, Phil's own stomach exploded and bursted open. And then his fingers and toes burned out. And he was showing this while he was doing his presentation. That was when he knew that this was not a joke, that he was dealing with some very strange beings. He is saying to you right now that when they had the sighting of this alien crash, that there were some witnesses who were there taking pictures. Now, when those witnesses took pictures, one of them surrendered the camera, the other one ran away. Now, he was told to go after the one that ran away and silence that one. When he got to that one, he resisted. What did he do? He used what they call wand, which is like the taser that you see today, and used it to silence the guy, said it will induce some type of heart attack, and then the cause of death will be regarded as natural cause of death. He said he did it without feeling anything, no remorse. Look at Samantha. He killed Samantha, silenced Samantha. She struggled for her life. He did it, no single remorse, because this man had been created or manufactured, remanufactured into a man without remorse, without any single conscience. Then the question right now is, why is it that they are silencing everybody who wants to tell the truth about the alien presence in our world?
In 1954, Dwight Eisenhower signed what's known as the Greada Treaty with the alien gray race. In exchange for shared alien technologies, the Greys were allowed to abduct a number of humans annually for medical examination. The Greys also demanded anonymity from the public. A short time later, human technology took a giant leap forward with circuit chips, fiber optics, and lasers. The Greada Treaty is still active today, but the number of human abductions has increased, despite objections from the world governments. Now, the really interesting part. Every year, at least 8 million children go missing in the world. I can attest that 1/3 of them are abducted by government operatives and transported to any one of the 1,477 underground military installations on the planet, then imprisoned for the remainder of their lives. The children are subjected to biological and genetic experiments, dissections, and mutilations performed not by human scientists, but an alien gray species. During my stay at the Vanguard Underground Base north of Phoenix, Arizona, I witnessed many of these procedures. Because there was no form of anesthesia administered to the young patients, the halls reverberated with the screams of tortured children from morning to night. The ones that perished were incinerated in the installation's crematoriums. My point of contact at this base was Lieutenant Colonel Charles T. Leninger, and he was a human-alien hybrid.
I started talking about this since 2010-11. And almost every time I spoke about it, people said it's fake news. That the United States government signed an agreement with demons in exchange for their technology. The demons, which is what you call aliens, demanded, we want to abduct human beings and take them with us so we can go and do research on them. And they allowed them and say, give us the technology and abduct the human beings. And you know why I decided to make this video this time around is because for the first time in all the years I've been researching, we now have a confirmation from a great-grandchild of D. Eisenhower, the president at the time who signed this agreement or treaty with the aliens. We're going to hear from her to see whether she will either deny or accept that her great-grandfather did this.
Laura Eisenhower, President Eisenhower's great-granddaughter.
Hi there.
Hey Laura, how's it going?
Pretty good, how are you?
Good, good. Hey, thank you for meeting with me. I've heard a lot about some rumors that I'm hoping you can either confirm or deny for me. I'm just going to come right out and ask you, do you believe that your great-grandfather, Dwight D. Eisenhower, signed a treaty with extraterrestrials?